Good morning. It's me, Arla the life coach, Arla be thinking, Arla the admin, Arla the hey man. And I slept well. Did you sleep well? I woke up with some thing still on my mind that I wanted to talk about because, all these things are coming up. So providing for great conversation, I think, on my end at least. And so I was just wondering, like, what do you know for yourself? You know, because I'm wondering, what do I know for myself? We are influenced by a lot of things. I remember I clicked this link, and next thing I know, my whole Facebook page was flooded with all this stuff. Here, try my program, do this, you can do this, and blah, 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 blah. And it was just so overwhelming. I'm like, well, damn, I don't even want to do it no more because it's like so overwhelming with all the people selling their stuff. And so I was just thinking about what do we know for ourselves. I was thinking about like when I was first I guess transitioning like out of Christianity, and I didn't realize what was happening to me because I can't even tell you where it started because there were some things that happened prior to that gave me but I just kept going. And then when this one major thing happened, you know, I took a step back from going to church because I needed to know what was going on with me. I was attending this church that was like 45 minutes away from my house, and I was going every week and sometimes throughout the week, even though I'd be stuck in traffic and stuff like that. But I was a faithful member there, and I loved going there, and my son loved going there. And when I stopped going, I remember how bad it felt, like I was doing something wrong because I wanted to stop going to church so that I can take care of me as a human being because my human was failing in the area. Well, at least that's how it felt. Um, I don't want to go into detail. It was just, I just made some mistakes on my end. I didn't make the best decision because I was trying to um, prove that I had faith in God and that I trusted God and all this stuff. And from the looks of it, God failed me. Common sense would have said, don't do that. But faith said, girl, go for it, all or nothing. Go big or go home. And that attitude put me in a situation that I didn't want to be in. And then it kept making the situation worse. And so I say that I've had some really rough days since making that decision. So I want to know, what do we know for ourselves, because I'm trying to figure out what do I know for myself. As I said earlier, and I had when I stopped going to church, my pastor at the time, he eventually called me because it's like I'm here all the time and all of a sudden I'm not there. So he wanted to know what was going on. And so I told him what was going on. No compassion. Just started hurling scriptures at me. And then when I didn't like fall into the Holy Ghost or whatever, whatever he was expecting, he was like, okay, yeah, I see what time it is. And he said something and I can't remember, but then he kicked off. He said, yeah, and I ain't gonna treat you no different when I see you. And then he was like, peace. That was that kind of attitude. And when I got off the phone with him, I cried. I was like, that was just so insensitive. And it's like, I just told you all this shit that just happened to me. And anybody who was who had a soul would be like, damn, you know, you know, at least let me see what I can do to help. You need a penny, quarter, nickel, dollar. That's what my auntie would say. Penny, quarter, nickel, dollar. So it's like, do you need anything? But he just didn't. And then he lied about that because it's like one of my friends, she was like, well, I want to go visit. Come with me. So I said, okay, I'll come. And when he got that microphone and he saw I was in that building, he said some stuff. He didn't say Arla, but I know who he was talking about. I was like, oh, I thought you weren't gonna treat me no different. You ain't never talked about me over the pulpit before, but today you did. So I never went back. But I found that to be a common thing, that when I was like trying to find answers, and that I would talk to people about what was happening with me because I didn't know. I was like real confused because he kept saying that like during the church time that God was blessing the people of that church, and he was prophesying all these things, and I was ready for it, but then that happened. And I'm like, well, what about me? It's like, does God hate me? Because if he's saying that all these things are supposed to happen to the people who are in this church and members of this church, I am a faithful member of this church, you know? So why is all this terrible things happening to me? And so I had questions and I wanted to know, and nobody could help me. You know why? Because they didn't know for themselves. All they kept doing was just hurling scriptures at me. And I mean everybody. And they were saying the same ones, and they were so mechanical and robotic that it made me feel like I can't get no answers from these people because they are under a spell, you know. They are brainwashed themselves. And so that's what led me asking questions, because people are like, don't question God. And it's like, well, why can't you question God? If God is an all-knowing being, then why can't I question God and get the answers that I need? A lot of times we ignore our human needs and responses for religious rhetoric. Don't question God. Question God. Because when I start asking questions of God, I started getting answers. And the more answers I got, the more, you know, it became. And I'm going to share in another video because when I hang up from this one, because I don't want it too long, what God showed me in regards to church, in church. All right. Have a good day and enjoy yourself. It's Sunday morning. I love Sunday mornings. Oh my God. Sundays are like my favorite days. I was born on a Sunday. And I've loved Sundays ever since. Okay, make it fabulous. Peace.